Hello and welcome to this Philbert Flies review of FlyTampa's Toronto Pearson Airport scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. In this video I'm going to take you on a tour of the airport in different weather and lighting conditions, telling you what I think as we go, and I'll finish up by giving you my overall opinion on it. We'll begin here at the northwesternmost part of Terminal 3. I've parked the aircraft up at stand Bravo 11, and as always we're going to have a look at the jetway connecting to the aircraft. Lovely smooth animation. And unfortunately the jetway hood does go through the aircraft skin ever so slightly, but other than that the jetway's perfectly aligned, and once it's in position it looks very good. The jetways have been very nicely modelled and very nicely textured. You'll notice a good amount of weathering along the top here, and the HSBC decals look very nice indeed. Let's move on to having a look at some of the terminal buildings. This is Terminal 3's northwesternmost pier, and you'll notice that FlyTampa have opted to use a mixture of opaque window textures up here and transparent glass and interior modelling lower down. Now these match very, very nicely. These are some fantastic opaque window textures. You can see how reflective they are, and the colour matches the glass down here really nicely indeed. That's quite hard to achieve. Obviously we'd all love to see an entire airport completely modelled inside and out, but that isn't really feasible in most cases, particularly in a city as big as Toronto, which has photogrammetry. What I see here is actually very impressive indeed. Moving down to ground level now, and you'll notice that the textures here are really pretty good. If you get super close, there is a little bit of blurriness, but from an aircraft cockpit perspective, they look absolutely fantastic, as crisp as you need them to be. There's the odd little bit of mismatching, as you can see between these two wall textures. But I'm impressed. They look very good, and there's a good amount of detail with signage and air vents and things like that. Good amount of dirt down at ground level, and it all looks very, very realistic. The quality of the modelling is very high indeed, and the textures up here are very nice too. You'll notice a good amount of weathering all the way along here without too much obvious repetition, or in fact any obvious repetition. And these windows certainly bear closer inspection. Lovely and reflective, they look very, very realistic. As we move inside, take a close look at these glass windows. They look fantastic. The levels of tint and reflection are spot on, and there's a little bit of dirt and streaking towards the top of them, which looks very realistic. Unfortunately, the glass disappears once we go inside. My understanding is that it's nearly impossible to have glass that shows its tint from both sides, but also looks good when lit from behind. I think when you see the night lighting later on, you'll agree with me that they've made the right choice here. The interior looks very, very good. Lots of detail included, from signage to benches to pot plants, and they've modelled the interior across a huge, huge amount of the airport. There are more detailed interiors out there with slightly crisper textures, but this is plenty good enough for me. It looks incredible from outside, which obviously is where it matters. It looks very good from inside, and the airport has had no noticeable impact on my performance. The rest of Terminal 3 looks similarly impressive from outside and from within. This is Terminal 1, and if anything, it's even more impressive than Terminal 3 was. Once again, we've got some fantastic modelling, some really nice texturing. I just love these rust streaks down this jetway structure. And a huge amount of detail on ground level, as you can see here, with these various shutters and the signage above them. We have two levels of transparent glass and interior modelling here, nothing opaque at all, and this extends all the way around the terminal. And this for me is the most impressive part of the airport. It's the curved building at the end of Terminal 1's middle pier. I'm sure it has a proper name, but I don't know what it is. So the curvy thing at the end of the pier is what I'll be calling it. The quality of the modelling is incredible. We've got a beautiful curved roof, and the curve of the building is perfectly rendered. Again, we've got a full interior modelled, and it's just very, very, very realistic. I love it. Even Terminal 1's little eastern pier has been beautifully recreated in the sim with the same quality of modelling and texturing that we've seen across the airport so far, and the same quality of interior as well. And the same is true of this little satellite terminal at the northwestern end of the main apron. This is the small northwestern cargo apron and terminal. As you can see, there's a lot of very realistic looking ground clutter, which adds a lot of life to it. And we've got some fantastic texture work on the cargo terminal itself, including this really nice signage above the shutters here. Now, yes, as you get very close, there is a little bit of blurriness, but certainly not from where you're going to be parking your aircraft. And this is Cargo West, which is similarly detailed with similar amounts of high quality ground clutter, and on the land side we even have some trucks. And just to the east of the Cargo West apron, we have the infield concourse, which I have to say caught me a little bit by surprise. Didn't know there was another passenger terminal over here. But as you can see, it looks every bit as good as the main terminals we looked at earlier, with fantastic quality modelling, fantastic quality texturing, and some beautiful interior detail as well. This is one of two general aviation aprons at the airport. You can see we have some very nice FBO buildings here. Again, very crisp textures, nicely weathered, great 3D signage. And just to the left here, we have two very, very nicely modelled hangars as well. No flat door textures here, as you'll see. We've got properly modelled sliding hangar doors. And yeah, they look absolutely fantastic. And this is the other GA area to the west of runway 23. Perhaps not quite as much love shown here, but come on, it's still alright, isn't it? Here's the control tower, and it's been fairly nicely modelled. It's not the highest resolution model. You will notice a few jagged edges on this concrete column, and unfortunately there's no transparent glass. But certainly as you're taxiing around the airport, this is going to look very lifelike. This is the landside entrance to Terminal 3, and you can see that FlyTampa have put almost as much love and attention to detail into this as they have into the airside areas. It looks absolutely fantastic. Parked vehicles, signs, really high quality modelling of this canopy and the structure that supports it. It's really, really impressive. It's slightly unfortunate that we've got default blurry satellite imagery underneath this elevated roadway, but you can't have everything, and this overall is very good indeed. You've also got, as you will have just noticed, animated trains that run in between the terminals and quite a distance away from the airport as well. This is the landside entrance to Terminal 1, and it too is fantastic. Now, I'm reluctant to even mention this, because if it was any developer other than FlyTampa, I wouldn't dream of mentioning it, but some of you will remember the fantastic work they did with traffic in Las Vegas. There are cars there that drive along the elevated landside roadways and pull into and out of parking spaces outside the airport terminal. It would have been awesome to see that here too, but it's in no way a criticism, just an observation. That would really be the icing on the cake. In terms of detail away from the airport, FlyTampa have done a lot of work here as well. You'll have noticed the Sheraton Hotel, no doubt, outside the Terminal 3 entrance, but the modelling goes quite a long way back, and we've got this very impressive elevated road network here, along with various car parks and other structures. When it comes to ground textures, I have always felt that FlyTampa are the best in the business, and you'll be pleased to hear that this scenery has done nothing to shake that faith. They are absolutely first class. Realistically dirty, they've got the colours and materials across the airport spot on, the ground markings are the right colour, they are slightly faded, they don't look all bright and cartoony as we sometimes see with add-on scenery, and indeed with the MSFS default airports. Yeah, really, really good work across the airport. The taxiways look very, very nice indeed. The grassy textures look very nice indeed. There's a little bit of blurriness where the grass blends into the taxiway concrete, but that's not the end of the world. And the 3D taxiway signs are very clear as well. And just take a look at this runway. It's absolutely fantastic. One of the most realistic I've ever seen. You've got very accurate ground markings. You've got a good amount of dirt and rubber marking. Slightly odd transitions between textures here and there, which could do with being smoothed out. But honestly, that does nothing to take away from the realism. It really is top quality work. Not all runways are the same either. You'll notice here that 15 left is much lighter in colour, as it is in real life. And looks every bit as good as runway 23 did. Here's Toronto Pearson by night, and all I can really say is wow. This night lighting is seriously, seriously impressive. The apron floodlights are spot on. The light coming from the interior of the terminal is absolutely spot on. And this is perhaps a little bit niche, but I'm particularly impressed with how well they've matched these opaque window textures with the properly lit from behind glass down below. You can't really tell the difference unless you get up really close and wonder why you can't see inside. This is some of the best night lighting I've ever seen in any simulator. Here's Terminal 1, also looking incredible. And look how good this apron control tower looks when lit up by night. The taxiway and runway lighting is also some of the best I've seen. I really like these alternating green and orange lights along here. We've got the stop bars lit up. As you can see, the 3D signs are nicely lit as well. And I'll give you a quick squiz at this central area here as well, where the West Cargo ramp is, and that little FBO building. The whole airport looks absolutely magnificent. Here's Pearson in the snow, and once again, hats off to FlyTampa for what they've achieved here. Snow isn't easy to work with in MSFS, and they've done a really, really good job. Now, in most sceneries, we would see a thick covering of snow and then a very sharp transition to no snow at all. But here, along the edge of this pier, they have managed to fade it out very, very realistically indeed. The snow coverage is fairly realistic looking. We've got little gaps in it where some of the dirt is. I imagine in real life that these apron areas are probably cleared quite regularly and it wouldn't get as thick as this. But you're not going to taxi around here and think this looks out of place. As you can see, a lot of the taxiways have been cleared, and again we have very, very little in the way of odd, harsh transitions. There are a few areas that are mysteriously covered, while the surrounding areas are not. But, you know, that's one of the things about MSFS. There's very, very few developers who have successfully found a way around this. FlyTampa have even managed to get the runways looking right in the snow, which is no mean feat. There is one exception, which is runway 33 right, 15 left, this one along here, which has a thick covering of snow on it. But all of the others look very, very realistic, with the centres cleared and just a little bit of snow build up on the edges, which blends in seamlessly to these taxiways. Really impressive stuff. Before we sum up, many of you will be aware that Reg Designs have also released a version of Pearson recently. Unfortunately, they didn't provide me with a press copy to take a look at, and as I'm currently in my overdraft, buying one felt like a bad idea, so I can't do a side-by-side comparison for you. However, a Canadian YouTuber called Aviator has done exactly that, and there's a link to his video at the top of your screen now, and also in the video description if you want to watch it later. To sum up what he's said, what I've heard from others, and what I've gleaned from looking at screenshots, Reg Design's version is slightly more up-to-date than FlyTampa's, but doesn't look anywhere near as good. I'm sure if I went over FlyTampa's airport with a fine-tooth comb, I would find things about its layout that are out of date, but honestly, over the course of this review, having looked at the charts at the same time, I haven't spotted a single thing. In conclusion then, FlyTampa's Toronto is an absolute masterpiece. Something that's always hard to explain in words, but that I hope has come across over the course of this video, is just how much this scenery makes you feel like you're really there. This is what you get from developers at the top of their game. There are lots of airports that are well modelled and have good textures and good night lighting that don't give you that feeling, but this one really does. And in spite of its high level of detail, intricate modelling, crisp, beautifully faded and weathered textures, quality terminal interiors, ample high quality ground clutter and incredible night lighting, it hasn't had any noticeable impact on my performance at all. It's been buttery smooth throughout. If all I can find to moan about is the lack of animated traffic on the landside roads and a single runway that's a bit too thickly covered in snow, you know you're onto a winner. So hats off once again to FlyTampa. Now, before you all rush off to buy it, would you mind just giving my video a like and subscribing to my channel on your way out? You can also buy me a coffee if you like at buymeacoffee.com/filbertflies. Thanks very much indeed for watching, and I hope to see you around these parts again soon. Bye bye.